we got Mr. KUAW coming in to join us. Hey, Mr. KUAW. Guys, we've got a full house today. We're going to talk about a couple of things. And then you all met our junior co-host last week. And so he'll be doing a lot of hosting. He'll be leading more so as the fourth Mondays continue. And Miss Bree and I will help whatever he needs us to do. But for the most part, Mr. KUAW, he knows stuff, y'all. And we all know stuff, but he knows some stuff, especially with the financial empowerment. He's been with us for a while doing some things. So I want to definitely just let us all quickly kind of say hello, and we'll just kind of say whatever you want to say about yourself. And then we'll get in and ask questions of each other right after anyway, because we've got our young people are on today. That's exciting. So Mr. KUAW, start us out. Who you be? Talk to us.
Hey everybody, my name is KUAW.
Where you go to school?
North Kansas City High.
Absolutely. And what are your career goals? Talk about that a little bit.
For right now, to be a financial advisor and probably excel in football.
He said excel. Okay. He said because
right. Yes.
Football. Amen. Amen. So and we'll come back and talk about those things a little bit. Miss Jasmine, say hello to us. Tell us who you be. Who are you? You're there almost. You're on mute, Miss Jasmine. Want me to come back? Can you hear me? No? Yep. I'm gonna come back, Miss Jasmine. Okay. She can't hear me, I don't think. All right. Mr. Ryan, talk with us. Tell us who you be. Tell us what school you're at, all that type of stuff. What you doing?
Hi, my name's Ryan Swingler. I'm a sophomore at Drake University. I'm majoring in multimedia journalism and digital media production. I'm from St. Louis, and I want to work in the field of sports journalism or music journalism.
Absolutely, that's good stuff. Good stuff. And Mr. Drill, he just came on. He joined us. All right. Miss Bree, tell the world who you are. And in case y'all didn't know, we're worldwide. We're like all over the world. It's very exciting. And Miss Jasmine, when you're ready, just kind of raise your finger and you let me know when you're ready to introduce yourself. Let's go, Miss Jasmine. Tell us.
Okay, I'm sorry. My stuff was skipping. I don't know what was happening. But my name is Jasmine, and I want to be an RN when I grow up. So I just start going to school for being an RN. I'm in a gap year right now, just trying to get some more money to finance me going back to school and stuff. So right now I'm just out of school, but I do still want to be an RN when I grow up. So
excellent. And girl, you're an emerging adult, so you're growing up. She's in college, and I wanted to make sure that we have some students in college, students going to college, and there are others that may join us. Depends on what they're doing today. They got different things happening. So we have Miss Bree, talk to us. Who are you? And then Mr. Doe, I'm going to come to you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I am Bree Logan. I am a realtor licensed here in Missouri and Kansas. I'm also co-host here with Mr. KUAW and Miss Valencia. And I'm just excited, really excited to have like the youth on the call to hear about everybody's futures, what they got planned. I'm just here for it.
And how we can help make it happen. That's a big deal. Dr. Sharice Swingler, tell us just a little bit about you. Then we're going to get into you a little more right after you tell us about you and Mr. Drew.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Sharice Swingler, and I am a mental health therapist, family therapist. I work here in St. Louis, Missouri, but I do telehealth, so I can reach a whole lot of different people all over Missouri. I'm licensed in Missouri, but I also have, with my private practice, under my umbrella of transformative family counseling, I also do life coaching as well. So that allows me to reach out to different states and even different people in various countries as well.
Absolutely. Okay. She says countries, y'all. Mr. Durrell, thank you. We're going to come back to you. And Mr. KUAW and Miss Bree and I, you see it. we can, just so you know, we can talk whenever we want to. So if you have a question, you just jump in and ask. Those are the privileges we get. We can ask people questions. If you think of something, just jump in. And actually, anybody can ask questions. But I wanted you to this is his first full fourth Monday. So I want him to understand your power. You are really a facilitator. And you got some things to say, you shout it out. Okay. Mr. Durrell, introduce yourself, please.
Hello. Hi, everybody. This is Daryl Johnson. I am the founder of Business Credit Works. Right now I'm in the Phoenix location. We are the only DBE and MBE certified business credit and loan broker company. And I'm just happy to be here. And just one side note, that for the nursing, to be nurse, there is a nurse program out there that allows you to buy a house when you become a nurse. There's special programs for nurses, firefighters also, okay? So home ownership, you get that nursing degree, you can buy a home. It's a great program.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, hi. My name. My name is Valencia Broadus, and I am a local attorney here in Kansas City, Missouri. I only practice in Missouri. I do real estate, estate planning, and probate, but more so than anything else is I am a human capital developer. I like to take people wherever they are, whatever they're trying to make happen in their lives, and I really help to develop that human capital to connect them so that their dreams can really come true. And so I do that through my law stuff. People need legal stuff, but I have a real focus for our young people. And so I just want to share old people too, like me. So, but we've been doing career clubbing for 25 years here. And we've got students from 25 years ago till now, and they're doing things all over the country. I won't say the world because I don't know anyone who's out of the country, but they could be. But they're all over, and they've gone through high school. They've either done the military or the college or just the career trades. They're doing what they want to do. And that's the big deal because that's what makes us really happy. And so that lets me jump back into talking to, Dr. Cherie in regards to, we all remember that last week we were talking, it was Women's Month. And so, and it's coming to a close, but women history, it's always because, without women, you can't have, meaning can't bear all you kiddos. And so, but, but the reason I say that is because, we've talked about in regards to financial empowerment, that there are those ways that we can do our best to close the generational gaps, right? Whether it's racial gaps or just generation, people making money. And the literature is really out there that it's really, really difficult for women, not just women of color, but women to be on equal standing with, men with pay for many, many reasons. I know last week we talked about one that I went back and looked at a lot over the past couple of days. It's the idea that if I'm 25 to 30 and I've just started my career and I'm single, but if I want to get married and have children, that employers, they look at that almost immediately as kind of a barrier of me being a great worker. Well, what type of junk is that? But it's true and it happens all the time. And, you can or can't do things about it. But, so when you think about that Women's History Month, just like Black History Month and other, months where we focus on individuals and, identities, we all have a struggle. But at the end of the day, we all have really more in common than we have differences. And how do we focus on those a lot more to help each other to really be the best versions of ourselves? And so that piece for Women's History Month, life is stressful. Last week, we talked a lot about how, those stresses can do a lot on women and how we're trying to run a business or raise our children with a spouse or by ourselves. There's articles that talk about women that we invest, really 30% less than men, sometimes just because we don't know. So all that stressful, how does it impact young people though? And so that's the reason the fourth Monday I thought was cool as we're going and talking about family as a whole. financial, challenges, or even sometimes you can be so rich, a lot of money can bring problems too. Do y'all believe that? Do you?
Most definitely.
I would talk about that, right? It can do that. And so what I wanted to do just for a few minutes is to just talk a little bit about, in general, how money really can impact, just families as a whole. Dr. Shree, I wanted you to kind of, based on, of course, no names, something like that, but based on just things you've seen, situations where financial challenges, they really can tear families apart, and not just, husbands and wives, but it can hurt whole families, and if y'all have questions, if she's talking, please raise your hand and ask, okay?
Yeah. What I've seen in my practice when it comes to finances, that's one of the biggest strains that families or even like couples have when they come to me. They talk about the financial burdens that they have, especially in our community. I see a lot of us wanting to so-called keep up with the Joneses and living beyond our means. I have a couple that I'm working with right now. Actually, the lady is a nurse and the husband's a police officer. So they have a nice, they make decent money. And so they qualified for a home recently. I think the home was like $300,000. And so they got this house and their dream home. But what it did was, and the husband said, we really, even though we qualified for that, maybe we should have gotten a home a little bit less, because now their quality of life it's strained, because they're not able to, go shopping like they used to, be able to, go on the vacations they used to go to, things like that. And so it's stressful. And what's happened is the husband and wife, they're fighting a lot because of finances, and then it trickles down to the kids. So now I was just working with the mom and dad. Now I'm working with the children by themselves as well, because it's putting on a strain for them, because they're seeing their parents argue and they're scared their parents are going to get divorced. And, so it's bringing a lot of anxiety with the children. The wife has some, signs of depression and things like that as well. So finances it has a big impact on family.
Absolutely. Hey, Mr. Alfred, how are you today?
I'm doing good, doing well.
Okay, so we've already introduced ourselves, and Mr. Alfred, he's one of the Fab Five helped us start this group. So tell people who you are, and then I promise I'll get right off of you, and we'll talk to Mr. KUAW a little bit and see if he has a thought, and I'll ask him a question.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Alfred Jordan, and I'm a business lawyer, mainly practicing in anything you need for a contract. Excuse me. Entity formation, real estate and financing for businesses as well. Mergers and acquisition, which is businesses buying and selling other businesses, and also any kind of commercial contract. So that's what I do for a living. Happy to be here.
Amen. Good. Also, another person who likes developing human capital. Work with us on a lot of our youth programs and being a mentor and all that. So appreciate that a lot. So, Mr. KUAW, you have done Financial Jeopardy. You are our champion of our second annual event, and you've done our Career Kitchen, where you help to run a business, and you've have family who've graduated. They're going on doing awesome things in their lives, and as you're thinking about, definitely you're about to graduate soon and do stuff like financial questions. Is there anything that you want to make sure that we're telling you, or anything you want to tell us to make sure that, we're like thinking about how do we help our young leaders to make better decisions based on what you've seen us do, or anything, or what you've read, anything?
I feel like something that needs to be stressed more is keeping your credit good. Like we don't learn that enough. Like that's why there's people out here older than me with terrible credit and they don't be able to do nothing in this like world. So that needs to be changed. I think y'all need to fix the whole dynamic with money. Cause whenever money's involved, it's a power struggle in the family. So like
Yeah.
that needs to be changed as a lot of stuff.
So thank you. I'm going to ask just a little deeper if you'll let me, and then we'll go to Mr. Johnson for a credit issue. A thought, because I like that you said that. So when you say change the dynamic because of the power struggle, what are you wanting us to understand about that specifically? Anything?
Like I feel like you can teach people how to make more than enough money, but money comes with a lot of bad problems, and that's what people don't understand. Like you can be as happy as you want to be, spend your money on all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be problems that come behind that.
Yeah, I agree. If we don't manage it well, like you said, the bad credit, Now, Mr. Johnson, I know you're waiting to share a thought. So with him doing, he does business credit also, personal credit is a part of other people in his business do that piece. So talk with us. And again, anyone, y'all can ask any question you want, because I'll talk, y'all know.
Well, he hit the nail right on the head, because dealing with finances and financials and loans and business credit as well as consumer credit represents pain. So when people come to me to try to get a business loan, I've got to look at either their personal credit or their business credit. And chances are their business credit isn't there and their personal credit isn't strong enough. But what I will say is, at some point, you're absolutely right, credit is not taught anywhere. And that's one of my goals, is to be able to teach that at the schools. It needs to be taught at a younger age, as well as business incubators, these grant programs that are giving out money, but the people aren't investing in getting their credit cleaned up. So you're absolutely right there. But one thing I will say, at some point in your life as an adult, you have to take responsibility when you know you have bad credit, is to seek out the correct people to help you get credit together and educate yourself. There's books, the internet, YouTube. There's so many resources we have today that help us get a better understanding. It might not be 100%, but get a better working knowledge of things, and then getting with other like-minded people to say, hey, I read this and I don't understand what this is. Can you break that down for me? So, and I actually have those conversations with people as I understand what happened back then, but you're 30 years old today and you're still letting the credit that somebody did wrong on stop you from your future. So I just say that to say there are resources out there where you become an adult to take control of your credit files and educate yourself.
No, that's good. Question to our other young leaders, especially you two that are in college. In regards to when you got on campus and all that stuff, I know when I went, college, everywhere I went, people are trying to throw credit cards at me and trying to get me to buy stuff. Have you all experienced some of that, either of you, Mr. Ryan or Miss Jasmine?
Yeah, I get when I was in college, I had cards coming to me in the mail a lot. So them credit cards, Discover, all of them, they come to you because they can get they offer you a student, some kind of discount for you being a student. And that's what a lot of things do. They'll get you into it by saying, oh, you're a student, so you can get this kind of discount and this kind of discount. But you don't even really know what you're doing if you already don't know what you're doing, then you're just setting yourself up. But if some people, like my dad, he teaches me what credit is and how to make it and all that stuff. So I have people teaching me what not to do and what to do with my credit. But a lot of people don't have that because they don't know about credit themselves. So.
Amen. Or have someone at home teach. Mr. Ryan, please give me a thought.
On campus, not that much where I'm at. They don't really ask or really offer credit cards that much to me. I know when I do go to stores, sometimes they do offer, do you want to do this? Do you want to take a credit card? But really on campus, they don't really ask me that many questions about credit.
Or like to take credit cards. That's good because that means your school probably is preventing those vendors from coming and just setting up and being there all the time. The school is, they're wanting to make sure they don't take advantage.
Yeah,
I was
a
just
lot
going
of
to say that. Go ahead.
yeah, my school, like a lot of the things that they like put forth and try to promote is that they try to be here for the student body. So they try to like help build us up before like the outside world kind of like messes with our credit or anything like that.
That's good. That's powerful, especially if you think about the colleges, because often they're getting your tuition and everything. It's like everybody else, get the money too, get the money too.
Could I also just add on to
Yes.
that?
Yes.
There is a state law that prohibits the advertising, marketing, or merchandising of credit cards to students on college campuses. So there is a law in place that prohibits that. That's great that your school is not allowing that to happen, because back in the day, that was just normal practice.
Yeah.
And they'll do with a 0% interest introductory offer. Then when that 0% interest goes away after 6 months, it resets to a 30%, where the college kids don't understand 30% interest on a $500 credit card is a lifetime of digging yourself out. So we are becoming more conscious, the schools are becoming more conscious of stopping that practice, because it just digs a deeper hole for our college students when they get out, because they've done the coursework, they've got their diploma and degree, and they're doing great things. But now to be saddled with that debt, and it's not just one credit card, they'll get you with multiple offers.
Interesting. And then we're going to go a break really quick. Yep, there's a commercial that comes on, maybe Lifetime, a lot of the news channels. There's a commercial that comes on. And so there's the man that he's graduated from college. And so he's got like 20, 30 people, they're like credit cards and debt that's chasing him around. Well, it's a funny commercial, but they're trying to show that really, in college, you're getting all the stuff. You don't even know. They're like, a payment's due. I thought I'd just give me the money, like grants and stuff. It feels like just giving you more, financial aid. So there's this commercial where they're, I think they're promoting some app. I'll make sure I'll know what it is next time. But it's a funny commercial because it's showing how they're always chasing you and trying to get you to do that stuff. Hey, Mr. Versey, how are you today? Excellent. So we're going to go to a break really quick because our announcers with KUAW, they're going to talk with us about who they are, what they do, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Then we're going to come back, and Mr. KUAW, who might have, some other thoughts he wants to share with us about just this journey, like for young people and stress and stuff. And we don't know yet. So whatever he's thinking, we'll talk with him, and he's got a lot to share. All right, Miss Paris, talk to us.
Thank you for tuning in on KUAW.org. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and you can also listen to us from your smart speakers and on your Roku TV. Feel free to listen to us on KUAW.org, and you'll listen to us soon.
Amen. Thank you. Like, right. I was telling Miss Paris yesterday, I had these issues with my tires anyway. So she gave me a ride somewhere yesterday. So as I'm in the car with her, her little twins, they're quizzing her on spelling words and stuff. And they're like, spell this, spell that, spell that. I was laughing so hard because she would spell it. And they said, okay, well, spell this. And they were like talking with her. It was pretty cool. And again, it's like someone's student and, you got kids and stuff. And you got to juggle it all.
You got to.
It's a big deal. Now, Mr. Cooper, before I come to you, you want to introduce your Jeopardy mentor. Talk about Mr. Versey. So you introduce him. Tell us who he is. And I know you know him, but tell us, introduce him to us.
All right. I mean, it's hard to introduce Mr. Versey. Mr. Versey is a man of many words. Like, so a lot to know about him. He's just a legend, myth, all of that.
That was good. That was good. Amen. And so I think I kind of mentioned a little bit that when we did the Financial Jeopardy competitions, Mr. Versey was his coach there. And so I'll start with that. So I know that we were excited, whenever you can come and join us, Mr. Versey, especially with Mr. KUAW on here. So Mr. Versey, remind us all who you are and what do you do?
No, it's not important who I am and what I do. The main thing is I was the coach for KUAW, and guess what we did? We won. That's what matters.
Yes.
Oh God, I in this context, I'll just say, I'll just keep it simple. I used to work in the financial services industry for the last roughly 10 years of my career, and I was a chief information officer for DST Systems downtown there. And the last 3 years, it gave me an opportunity to run one of the businesses, which was the financial services segment. And what that business is all about is providing technology services to companies that you would think about, like T. Rowe Price, Fidelity, all the big financial services companies. And so I got the opportunity to interact with people who were talking about what they were doing in the area of financial literacy, from CEOs to board members, et cetera. And I just simply said one day, you know what? No, I didn't say it to them. I said it to myself. None of you bozos ever talk to me about this stuff. I learned all this stuff on my own. Then as I became a known entity, then everybody, kind of like the credit card thing, everybody's chasing you, say, hey, let's meet and let's talk, let's talk about your portfolio. I'm like, you guys are you missed the opportunity. And so it just reminded me of where I come from, and what I do when I retire. And so I ended up writing a book called Make It Rain. And I spend my time as much as I can now just trying to meet with people and educate them on the basics of personal finance. I don't go into credit. Actually, my revision 2 I want to do that, but I didn't go into credit because I really felt at that time the most important thing was getting people to save, invest, and then pay their bills. Because you can have credit, but if you're not doing that, it really doesn't matter. So anyway, that's what I did. So I got connected up with Mrs. V, and I'm not even sure how we met, to be honest, but I got pulled into the first Financial Jeopardy session, and we've been connected ever since, long story short.
I'm watching my dog because I wonder what I'm doing, because she's doing stuff over there. Every time I
get and when I read the note that Jan had this, I said, I got to be on the show today. I got to show up. So that's why I'm here. So that's important.
No, that's amazing. And so we just kind of ask everyone to kind of tell who. That's why we keep doing that, because we're worldwide, so we want everybody to know who we are, what we're doing, and who's talking to us. And Mr. KUAW, I remember when we were talking, maybe when we were skating, I'm not sure, but we were talking about have you won the Jeopardy? And at first, because he wants to be a financial advisor now. You all heard him talk about that, and he had said that in the winning, he said Mr. Versey told you something. And from that point on, you just made sure you continued to do it to aspire to your dreams. And if you don't remember what you said, meaning what he said to you, the reason I'm bringing that up is because, a lot of what we're always trying to do is do our best to develop and pour in and motivate our young leaders what they want to do. Sometimes they know what they want, may not know how to get there, so the more that we can come in and just say yay, and push and be present. I think that's real important. Would you agree, Mr. KUAW? Is that important that we just, any of our, especially Miss Jasmine, Mr. Ryan, Mr. KUAW, is that important? We need to show up.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. And I don't know if this is what he heard from me, if he picked it up, but it's in my book as well. The more you learn, the more you earn. And that's the number one premise. And so when I'm talking to students, that's exactly where I start with. It's about getting that knowledge. And when you get that knowledge without action leads to nothing. So knowledge plus action equals power. And that's how you make it rain. And so I don't know if that's what he refers to, but I show up for KUAW. I'll show up for anybody. Let me be blunt. I did, this was special because he's kind of running the show today. But for any of the students and any of the people in the community, their parents, whoever, if you ever need me, I will be there to try to help. So anyway, and I'm gonna shut up for the rest of the show.
No, you're okay. Miss Human has a question for us, we'll answer. So, Mr. Kevon, any thoughts you want to pour on us?
Most definitely. Just depends on what y'all want to talk about, really.
Okay. So, and Mr. Versi's right. It was you had said that he said the more you learn, the more you earn, because we're asking how you continue you're reading and learning so much, be a financial advisor. And Mr. Alfred, I think I've shared, he had sent us that one link, as far as just investing, because I shared it with him, Mr. Alfred. And so that link that you sent me, because he said, Mr. Alfred said, I think you'll like this. And I said, you're a sponge. We've talked about you're always taking the data, you're talking to us. And that's why we wanted you to be the host. And so what do you think about this opportunity, Mr. Kevon? I mean, is it nerve-wracking a little bit?
Yeah, I think it is kind of nerve-wracking. Like, it's a little bit nervous and nerve-wracking, a lot of stuff like that, because I'm standing on the forefront for people my age, which is just like, it's not really the best situation right now.
Right. So when you say it's not the best situation, do you mean it's not the best situation that you're on the forefront, or it's not the best situation that young people, they need more people to be on there for them? Tell me about that.
I think it's more about the young people, because right now we all in a stressful situation. We got to pick up for what y'all left us, because now our expectations are higher. Like retirement, you got to have more money now. You got to have a better livable income. Everything is just more. It's more expectations for us now.
Mm-hmm. We're expecting you all to meet up with the Joneses, you know what I mean? And so, right, thank you all. See, Mr. Verse, we need to know about your book. See, we didn't know what you got going on. No, it's good. And so, Miss Cherie, when you think about, we talked about, I think I've texted different people different information. When we talked about, for even, our younger leaders, whether they're in college or high school, college, graduating, there's a whole lot of stress that they're under to keep up with the Joneses. And so when you talk to young people at all, do you, because you also do, Dr. Cherie, she's a licensed psychologist and does a lot of transformational family counseling. And so talk with us a little bit about those stressors. How do we help our young leaders to deal with what Mr. Kevon's talking about?
Well, I have two jobs actually, and I work at a college, and I'm not going to mention that college's name, but I work with students. Actually, I work with nursing students, and a lot of the students that I work with tend to be not that traditional student that has, like no children and they're living in dorms and things like that. Most of my students have their own home, they have children. And so they have a lot of financial stress because they're trying to not only take care of themselves, pay for school, and also take care of their children. And a lot of students, they get financial aid. So maybe the tuition part is paid for, but then there's a lot of stress when it comes to the everyday things that people need. And I see some students, they're really good about managing their money and trying to budget, but things are expensive. Everyone's been talking about how expensive gas and eggs are, that big thing that people are talking about. So even though they may be, cutting corners on certain things, they still have that stress of, the financial part. And so that brings on, like I said before, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, or just like that stress. And so I've seen students come in my office, upset because they feel like they have to drop out, and work, and then when you look at that, if you're not getting a trade or if you're not, getting a college degree, what is that going to do in the long run? It's going to make, your finances even worse. And so it's kind of like a vicious cycle that I see. And so I really try to, empathize with them, but also try to find resources that can assist them so that they can stay in school. But it's hard. And I read an article, it was a few years ago, I think it was like 2019, and it said that 70% of college students stress over finances. And it's like I said, it's not just that tuition, it's on top of tuition. I drive to school, I need gas in my car, I need to eat. A lot of college students, that aren't in the dorms, that are getting, that have food, in the dorms. If they're living in their own apartment and things, you're finding students that, they're not eating properly and things like that. And then that, puts stress on them as well, because, they don't have food to eat, and then you're not sleeping because you're stressing over, because you're hungry, and then you're stressing over not being able to pay for things. So now you're sleep deprived. It's a vicious cycle.
It's interesting. No, thank you. Because we think about a lot of our students, even on campus, those meal plans are so expensive.
Yes, they
and
are.
So tuition doesn't always include really room and board. I mean, it's tuition, room and board. So
Right.
students, they're there. And I think we talk to our students a lot about, like ACT scores, so you can get different, grants and financial aid, all that stuff. But also applying for them, because the money's out there. So we always talk a lot about the money's out there. How do we help you to go get it before you go to college? So you can have grants and stuff not grants, but scholarships and stuff set up.
Yeah.
So,
and then you look at it, you have first generation college students. And so a lot of times parents aren't able to help them with that because they don't know about it, and then you have a lot of schools, the counselors are there, but a lot of them are there for more behavioral things, emotional support. And so a lot of schools, especially a lot of public schools in my area, have dropped that career type counseling, and those mentor type programs. So then what are those students supposed to do, because they don't really know about it? So,
I agree. I agree. Mr. KUAW, he dropped off. He's going to come back in just a moment. So for Ms. Jasmine and Mr. Ryan, when you all think about, maybe not yourselves, but students who maybe you're going to school with or went to school with, and finances, is that a big thing that you just kind of saw, not like a specific person, but in general, a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. In school, like most of the times in college, most of the people that I know were always stressing about either how are they going to pay for schooling, or how are they going to pay for their next meal? Because most of the time the school stores, they're stocked, but they are only open on certain days. So certain days you won't have anything to eat. And like some people don't eat what's at the caf, because even sometimes this cafeteria food just isn't good. It's just, that's some things that you're going to run into sometimes. Or you're going to get tired of cafeteria food and want to eat out, and you don't have enough money for that. Or it's just a lot of different things that you have to deal with. And if you don't have that kind of guidance, like she said, as being a first generation college student, you don't have that kind of guidance to have like somebody in your corner telling you what not to do and what to do. You don't know all the extra costs that are going to come in. You're really just going in blind, because nobody, even when I was in school, and I went to a public school as well, so they don't teach you, they teach you about like going to college and what the benefits are of going to college, but they don't teach you all the stuff that you're going to have to pay for. They don't teach you all the different stuff that's different from high school to college. It's just a lot of different transformations. So you'll have to really get used to that going into college.
Absolutely. Mr. Ryan, and then we'll come up to Dr. Shaw. Please.
For the school that I'm in, like the journalism field of the school I'm at, I'm on the advisory, the student council. So we talk about like finances and how it may impact each student as a student body. So like if there's like certain courses that was offered to everybody over like Christmas break that you can come up early, Now it has been implemented that it's going to be more, you have to pay for that also. So now that impacts a lot of people who cannot pay for that, and they can't get ahead in credits, and they may fall behind due to that. So finances at school isn't just about just tuition, but it could be also about extra things that some people can't have because they can't afford it while other people can.
Yes. Dr. Cherie, please.
Yes, I had a question for Jasmine since she's a nursing student. When I'm working with nursing students, what I have found, and I want to know if this is true for you as well, that our nursing students at my school, not only do they have the tuition, then they have equipment. They have to pay for programs like ATI programs. They have to pay for, uniforms because they're scrubs. They have to, because they're doing clinicals and things like that. And so it's extra things. So I have found what I have done in my school, any graduates, I ask them to bring back their scrubs because there's nothing they can do with it because there's a school name on it, but they're expensive. And a lot of students come to me and they can't afford it. So I was just wondering, do you find that there's extra programs that you had to pay for when you were in the nursing program, or was yours all included in your tuition?
Now for me, where I go to school at, they wait until clinicals and doing those type of things until you're a junior. So they don't put that on you right away, but you will have, they have a email system that goes out to all nursing students. So it always lets you know, like, when you become a junior, you will have to do A, B, C, and D. But when I was doing nursing, because I also have a trade, certification from my high school. We did pay for our scrubs. We had to pay for because you have to have blood pressure equipment. You have to have the pulse, the stethoscopes, all that. You have to pay for all of that.
Yeah. And it's expensive.
Very.
Yes. And then in high school, and as you mentioned that, what if students want that in high school so they can have, that trade to then work? They can't afford that stuff. They can't do the class.
Right.
That's the problem. Because if you didn't have that equipment, some of those kids just had to drop the class because you can't do the clinicals without your equipment. So most kids had to drop right there. Like, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
We lost a lot because of that point and the clinical hours where you had to actually go and get clinicals, and a lot of people didn't have their equipment, so they just had to drop.
Yeah. And we also you have to get fingerprints, and you have to pay for, all these other little extra stuff like that. And it gets expensive, and
not
so expensive.
There is a test that nurses do have to take before they can, well, I don't know if it was for my school, but they have a test that they have to take, and that costs itself $9 to have to take that. So you have to for a lot of things.
Yeah, because our students, they take the TEAS test that they, to get in, and then afterwards, when you're finished, you got to take the NCLEX, and that's even more money. So it's a lot more than just that, tuition.
It is quite a bit. It's interesting because I'm going to share a thought, and then we'll go to break, but I want Mr. Grill to tell me what he thinks about this thought. So you know how they're always trying to give students credit cards. So I think about like the nursing students. If students are in certain areas of practice, maybe they only give them a credit card to buy that stuff or offer or whatever. And so finding a way, because if they don't have the money, then in college it would be useful, or give some type of credit card. Anyway, I just want to, let's come back to that, because that makes me think about a whole lot. All right, Ms. Harris, our announcer, talk to us, remind us about KUAW.
Thank you all for listening to KUAW. You can follow us on KUAW.org, on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and you can also listen to us on your Roku TV or ask your smart speakers to play KUAW.org. Thank you.
Excellent. And Mr. Kevon, we were talking a little bit more about those credit cards and well, students having stuff. Because as you're getting ready for college and other students, I definitely am thinking, we talk a lot about college and all that stuff and how do we get you ready for that. So, Mr. Durrell, is that like a terrible idea of giving like a credit account for equipment or something? And they could count towards their credit while they're in college?
It's a great thought. I see where you're going to.
He's like, no.
But it still comes down to affordability. Can they pay the bill? And then what's that payment going to be? Because if they're in college, if they're just getting by, just off the basics and deciding between cafeteria food, going out, all these other things, and that is a necessary to get their degree. Yeah, it just comes down to affordability and the payment. Trying to think of another creative outside the box thinking that they can maybe even deferred payments for 6 months or a year, or even after they get out of college before those payments are due. So that way they can get the supplies and things that they need to get through school and then have a payment after they've gotten their degree. So there's some creative thinking to come with that. And also too, I want to talk about, just kind of knock out what I was talking about earlier. Is called the CARD Act. There's a law on the books where they have certain things in place. One of the things in place is not really going to the colleges and going after the college students. And we can talk about that because the law is really detailed and very, very good. I couldn't remember the name of it earlier, but I like what you're talking about. But we just got to defer that payment until income comes in.
Mm-hmm. Find a way. And normally only the loans will do it. Mr. Versio, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so this is interesting. You guys brought this up. So I have the luxury of I've been on all kind of, you name it. And this topic has never come up when we're raising money for scholarships. We talk about schools, we talk about books, we talk about tuition. Nobody talks about testing. Nobody talks about equipment needs, uniforms, et cetera. And so what you just did, what I think for the adults that are here for sure, that are at charity events that are talking about raising money for scholarships, we need to bring that one in. I would have never thought of it. And I went to school, I went to college. I was poor, so somehow my stuff was paid for through some kind of scholarships, and it was a company that did it called back in the day. But it's not a norm. And so I think that's something that something we can take out of this particular forum today and say, you know what, when we're at events and we're talking to people who are raising money, let's talk about the need for not just tuition and books, but tuition, books, and equipment and uniforms, so that people that get there can actually live and actually do the things that they need to do to graduate. So I made a note for myself. I think we can just take that as action. Yeah.
That's a great idea, because I see so many students coming in my office devastated, because of the stress that they have of trying to figure out how to get that money for those testings that they have, or these special programs. Like I said, there's a program called ATI that helps them. It has like different questions and things for each segment for that nursing program. And then, the scrubs and the stethoscopes and just all these things, and they don't have the money for it.
Well, I went from this to all these, a lot of companies now are trying to endorse support the trades. And the same thing's happening, I guarantee you, based on what you just said, is people are showing up. They don't have the tools. They don't have the uniforms. They don't have what they need to actually succeed, whether it's in high school or trade school or beyond. And so I just took an action. I'm gonna talk about it as I'm out and about. But I think we can help each other by just making sure those folks that are, there are a lot of people that are willing to give. They just don't know what to give their money to. So we should take advantage of that.
Yeah,
that's very good. Industry specific. Just as I was talking about earlier, where they have the housing programs for nurses, firefighters, EMTs, take that to the next level. The kids in school, representation matters. We've got these young kids in school trying to get into those fields. How can we support them? That's a great. Love it.
Yeah, that was a great idea.
I do know that I'm with MCC, so I do our Health Sciences Institute. So we have scholarships for some of those things, but often it comes through FEC though. So they can get the monies for financial aid to do the tuition, and then they go to your local area career center, and FEC here anyway, they will give them dollars and vouchers to buy those things and gas and stuff. So I think that there's some things out there, but again, a lot of times you have to be below a certain income level. And I just want to say this for a real, not a real reason, but I want to say this in an interesting way, because sometimes you can be not poor enough to get assistance, but then you're make too much money to get some of the aid, you know, or you can't afford it. So how do we get in the middle? And
that's why I was not trying to tie it to income. I was just trying to tie it to, there's a fundraising activity that almost every, I mean, I'm on foundations and we raise money all the time, but this is something that we don't talk about. And I guarantee you, if this was talked about at those foundation boards, they'd say, wait a minute, okay, so they can't get what they need to get through the class, then we need to close that gap. And don't make it aid based or
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things that we do, and Miss Brielle, yes, one of the things that we do a lot, even with our career clubbers, like when they're studying for the ACT, all these different types of things, is we do things like we make sure that the career club, we buy them vitamins. And we do that because again, it's that food thing. We're trying to teach habits before, because in college, y'all know we eat bad food. But if they're seeing that, okay, but when I did the ACT, vitamins help me to be better. So we're trying to also create habits because the food's expensive. And I remember in college at Mizzou, I ate taco salad all the time. That was the worst stuff. I just remember sometimes you're lightheaded and you're running around campus. I didn't know about nutrition.
You were living good. Ramen noodles right here.
Me too. I'm
y'all talking about y'all making me I'm like, what y'all talking about? This kind of food. I'm like ramen noodles, baby.
That's right.
You see, but with that stress, you know, it's all of that. You know how to eat. You know, good. It's everything. And I know we're coming up like 6-7 minutes, so I want to get back. Miss Bree, talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of approach it first because I was considered a non-traditional student. I had a kid while I was in college, and something that was really beneficial for me was being active on the campus, because I was able to get connections with like other kids that had like hustle money jobs. I've always been that type of person. I didn't have the knowledge of going and, you know, talking to different organizations to get funding or whatever. So I just worked. That's what I was raised to do. So I know being in some of those friend groups kind of helped me get the money together to be able to balance out that stress. Although it was a lot of time spent, making those friendships and those connections in college was really helpful for me. So that's just a suggestion I like to throw out there, because sometimes we may not know about those programs, but there are jobs and they need bodies. So.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
Social connectivity.
Can I add on to that?
Yes, and then Mr. KUAW, if you have thoughts, I know you're soaking it in, so you tell us, ask us anything, okay? Mr. Durrell, go ahead.
Doing some research, like what we was talking about jobs. There's medical couriers. We can delivery jobs, picking up specimens, taking it from point A to point B. There's couriers for documentation. I'm just trying to do this research for another project. I'm just amazed at all of these gig jobs that are out there to make additional money in your own time. So it doesn't have to be like the DoorDash, that's part of it, delivering food, Amazon packages, all of these different things I'm finding. I'm like, wow, I never knew this existed. So it's a lot different than when, okay, I'm gonna sound old, when we were going through college where we had traditional jobs where it wasn't so much side hustles. If it wasn't so well known. But now we have YouTube and friends that say, hey, I got this new gig and it's an app. I go pick up this package. I do this, I do that. So, and I know they're in school. I know those programs are intense with studying. So, but that was a very good point, because it's just flexibility and your timing, your schedule to pick up some extra cash.
Excellent. Mr. Ryan, Miss Jasmine, and Mr. Kevon, tell me, you all have jobs now that you're in school. How are you making extra money as a young person to carry your bills or stuff? He's laughing.
Yeah, Ryan, go for it.
I don't have like an active job where I work on campus, but whenever I have like time on my free time, I like start door dashing just to make a little extra bucks while I'll just listen to music while I'm in the car with some friends and just door dash. That's how I make a little extra money while I'm just on campus. But I do work during the summer or during breaks.
Yeah, that's the main thing I did when I was on campus too. I door dashed with my friends. We would all split the money, or because we would all help. We would all one person go in, go get the food, the other person, we just switch. So we would do that all day. Or I had another on campus work from home job that we worked down the stairs, and it was a calling agency to help support get them money. So I would do that. And then my sister, who actually who was at the same campus as me, worked as a security for a building on the campus. So you just got to find, my campus, they had little posters up of all the jobs. So if you can look around your campus and try to find the ones that have jobs on them.
Absolutely. Mr. Kevon, you've had jobs. So tell us a little bit about the different types of jobs that you have to make extra money for you, because you love shoes. I won't go.
All right. So, my first job, I was a lifeguard. My second job, wait, what did I do for my second job? Hold on. That's a long time ago. My second job, I was at this place called Retreats. My third one, that's when I got to the BU. And my last one that made me know that I don't want to work no more for real was Chuck E. Cheese. I couldn't stand it.
What was wrong with Chuck E. Cheese? They had pizza, right?
Have you had their pizza?
No, they pizza cool. They pizza cool. It's just I don't like kids.
Now, you also worked at the Career Kitchen over this past summer after the retreats. And so the reason I mentioned that is we're going to be doing that again. And what we do with a lot of our students is, as they do these shows, do different things for us, we also, give them stipends, because we put a lot on you to read a lot and to show up and come. And so we try to make sure that we're doing that. But Mr. Kevon, over the summer, we all found you this in the spring as well to be a real leader. And you're always trying to bring people together. It's that leadership piece that you're really, a leader. And as you're doing, that's why you're here. He was the main one that was always watching the podcast. He was responding. He would ask questions. And I was like, he is really, really listening. And, we always want to think about our strengths and, all of us, how great we are in whatever we're trying to do, and making money. We can make so much money with our minds and remotely, especially now too. So, thinking about that. Dr. Cherie, talk to us, please, and kind of give us a summation of anything that you want to make sure that we know from just your, I don't want to say the counseling side, but as a transformative person for families. What do you think we should take away from today, from your perspective? We can't hear you.
I accidentally hit my button. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
From the mental health standpoint, especially for our young people and students, reach out when you feel like you need help. Find any adult. Usually in a school, there's going to be some type of counseling department. So go there. If you're feeling, anxious or depressed, or even if you just need somebody. College campuses, most of them have a very good behavioral health department. It's usually next to the counseling department. Seek help. If you don't feel comfortable with talking to someone on your school campus, find an adult, somebody that you do trust. because anxiety and depression can be debilitating. And so being proactive on it when even if you feel like it's not that serious, really seek that help. I can't stress how much, how important it is for self-care. I know you have times where you got to study and do all these things, but find, some time out of the day to like give yourself some type of, care. If it's, some type of exercise, or if it's, just relaxing, give yourself some time to really take care of yourself mentally, because it's so important, that mental health aspect of it.
Mr. Ryan, you have a thought?
Oh, me? No, I was just looking at the time of the 2-minute warning.
You're-
I didn't know if you were
your
out or
eyes
not.
lit
That's
up.
why.
No,
That's
you're
why I
awesome.
was laughing, because I thought she was just going over the time or something.
Oh, no, she's great. I think about, and also take vitamins. I mean, it's for everybody. I'm just serious. That nutrition piece is really critical. And one of the reasons, Dr. Shree, as you mentioned, that the reason we do career clubbing, we do the adult thing, financial empowerment, but the career clubbing with our young leaders is so that we're doing connectivity. The more that we can make sure, for example, Mr. Alfred and Mr. Versey showing up, both, because Mr. Kim, because he knows them. And one of his comments he would always make is, when he was watching, it's nice to see people I know. And of course, with Ross and others. And so he would always say that. And I did tell Mr. Jeffrey Jr. that you asked about it, Mr. Kevon, because he was like, hey, it was good to see these people. So we try to make sure wherever they go to school, whatever's happening, we try to stay in touch. But if their parents are in touch, we don't, but sometimes people don't have people when they're away.
Right.
So we stay in touch and go visit and stuff like that. So, and Mr. Alfred, I know you're listening keenly because you're a dad of a college student. Any thoughts you want to give us before we check out today?
The only thing I would say is just like really work the scholarships for the ones that are in school and the high school students. Because if you think about it from you might not get the scholarship, but if you get $1,000 scholarship that you put 2 hours into, that's $500 an hour. And that money either goes on your books or tuition or in your pocket. So, when you get some spare time, knock those out. I know my mom beat me over the head about them, and I'm glad she did. So,
yeah, and you're passing it on.
I should have been doing it myself, but she was on me, and I'm glad she was.
Amen. Miss Paris, are we out of time? I don't know. So we're going to keep on talking. Yes. You guys, thank you, Mr. Kevon, for hanging out with us. He'll be back April on the 4th Monday again. So we'll be having more of our people back. And everybody, thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you all soon, but we'll be talking offline. So see what Mr. Kevon wants to tell us. All right. I love you guys so much. And I appreciate you a lot. Dr. Sheree, I love you, girl. I'll call you later. Thank you, Ms. Green.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.